Security matters now. The Chief of Defense Staff has emphasized the importance of inclusive effort in addressing terrorism in the sub-region. General Christopher Musa told the visiting delegation of the Alliance of Sahelian States in Abuja that Nigeria means well for its neighboring countries. Stephanie Sen has more.
Delegation of the Alliance of Sahelian States, led by this man, Aliu Gebi, a Nigerian former federal lawmaker. The delegation is in Nigeria to study the government's non-kinetic approach to tackling terrorism in the country. First off, the delegation visits the National Counter-Terrorism Center in the Office of the National Security Advisor.
We are confident that this exchange of knowledge will be mutually beneficial and pave the way for stronger partnership in our shared mission.
Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger are facing what we faced perhaps 10 years ago. And it would be a disservice to humankind if we don't share the knowledge that we have. And it would be further disservice to humanity itself if we think that the only model is the Colombia model, when we have models closer to home that are adaptable, scalable, and locally contextualable.
Next up is the Defense Headquarters. The Chief of Defense Staff highlights the government's non-kinetic effort in the northeast that has resulted in the mass surrender of Boko Haram fighters and their families.
We were able to get the phone numbers of their mothers. We got their own phone numbers and we give their mothers those phone numbers. The mothers called them, they have not seen them for 4 or 5 years. They are top commanders. When the mothers called them, they started crying.
Last year, I had the privilege of visiting Niger Republic and I met with the Chief of Defense Staff. We were warmly received. Now we want to extend such to Burkina Faso, to Mali, all to show unity, that we need each other for us to succeed.
What happens in Mali resonates in Nigeria. What happens in Niger resonates in Senegal. Therefore, they need to come up with a harmonized strategy in terms of non-kinetic strategies. Their deployment, and most importantly, strategic communication.
This visit is coming a little over a year since Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger pulled out of ECOWAS, forming the alliance, which in January this year announced the deployment of a joint force comprising 5,000 troops. This force is intended to operate across the member countries, utilizing air assets, equipment and intelligence resources to combat extremist violence in the region. For Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff, efforts must be strengthened to curb illegal mining and kidnapping, which provide sources of funding for terror groups in the country. Sifon Essien, TVC News, Abuja.